Oi, Steven, what the hell are we wearing?
I don't know. She said I needed a suit.
Yeah, the ceremonial armor from Conchu's temple, not Psycho Colonel Sanders.
Well, I don't know how any of this shit works, man. I do look sharp, though.
Hey, so I kind of got bored playing Reapers, and then I saw PoE Noob's Armourstacker AG video from back in Freesia League. And he used Mother's Embrace and linked to his Animate Guardian to make it do a bajillion damage. And I was like, oh cool, let me try and recreate that. Obviously, Necromancer can't compare to the amount of order effect that you're stacking on Freesia of Paladin, but, you know, I'll try my best. So I put together a super budget version that literally every piece of gear costs like 20 chaos. And with a Doriani's Merc, it literally got up to like 60 million damage. Now, of course, before you say anything, yes, I understand. Every build with a Doriani's Merc that does lightning damage is going to do a billion damage. And also every minion build specifically that uses a Squire and like 12 links your minion, you know, is also going to do a billion damage. Which is 100% true, but the numbers were very impressive. However, the DPS was super conditional because you had to have so many things up at the same time in order for this build to actually perform. Because you had to have Spirit Offering up, you had to have Assassin's Mark on the target, you have to have Smite Aura active, you have to have your AG linked, you have to have all of your flasks up, and then you have to have 10 Pyroclastic Mines down in order to get this damage. But obviously, you know, it scales to the moon. So I took a look at all that, and I went, well, okay, I'm definitely not going to map with this, but let me try and make it a pretty viable budget bosser. So I tried it out, I put it all together, and I realized that I just actually couldn't keep up with all the different buffs and debuffs and effects and stuff. Like, I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that could definitely do it, but it just wasn't for me. And I'll put the clips in the background, but I was just like floundering trying to, you know, get the maximum possible DPS. And while this is happening, you know, it is actually doing a lot of damage. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go through and just make a lazy version of this build, which is what I'm showing off in the background now. Let me just go ahead and show you the gear that I put into this so far. So here's the squad so far, and here's the Animate Guardian gear. Basically, if you know anything about armor stacking, then you already know what's going on here. But for those that are uninitiated, what we're doing is that we're using Replica Dream Feathers to get a ton of attack damage based off scaling fire resist. We actually get the double dip on the Admiral here because not only does it help with making our Pyroclast Mine added fire damage be dealt to the enemy's lightning resist, but it also makes our AG look really snazzy. Things of note here are that the gloves are really important. I didn't realize that the non-Val strike targets actually applied to Animate Guardian, but it does, and it makes Clear so much better because he has kind of wonky and clunky AI where he'll just kind of get like bored, or like he'll stop attacking one monster to just walk to another one and start attacking it. So it really helps a lot with the Clear. And then also, obviously, as Ralakesh's impatience doesn't give us every single charge, you have to fix one of the charges with a monkey, which is completely fine. So moving on to my gear, I'm not going to go over everything because I don't want to bore you to death, but essentially the important parts. One, I swear, okay, this weapon is not a multi-merit tier, like 12 link crazy Shaper Elder weapon. This is literally, I bought this off trade for 4 divines, and it's pretty simple. It gives 3 links and then +2. I crafted +2 to level the socketed support gems on it, so we can get the AG up to level 33 using this level 4 Empower. I know, I'm a little rich. This awakened minion damage support, and then this awakened added lightning damage support. But otherwise, everything on here is fairly normal. But basically, the part that I want to touch on is the fact that with this build and how you're basically increasing all of your damage through scaling your Animate Guardian's fire resistance, Replica Grip of the Council actually becomes really good. Kind of unused glove. I mean, this +2 to socketed minion gems one, I think, was a divine or even less than a divine. And I'm using this so that I can get level 25 Ray Spectres pretty easily, which is level 21 gem. And also scale levels on Bone Offering and my Stone Golem and all that. And it gives them plus 40% fire resist, so it gives a ton of damage. I'm also utilizing my rings to scale as much elemental resist on minions as I possibly can, because it actually becomes the most valuable offensive scaling stat, even over attack and cast speed and increased minion damage, even though those do help, not as much as elemental resist, which is really nice because this is a really cheap mod to get. Same with the Darkness Enthroned. The Darkness Enthroned is scaling elemental resist and also lightning damage. And then may have noticed something weird, and it's the fact that I'm running a Victario's Flight. Now, you may ask, why is he running a Victario's Flight? Is he dumb? Why is he running March of the Legion? This is true. Both parts. But I'm running this, one, because it was really cheap to get a +4 aura Victario's Flight, and two, because I realized that the line that says Quicksilver Flask you use also apply to nearby allies also applies any magic prefixes and suffixes it has, meaning that when I use my Quicksilver Flask, my Animate Guardian is getting 57% increased armor, which is increasing his DPS by somewhere in the ballpark of 1.5 million. This is actually like a really sick interaction, and also helps with the clear a ton, because, I mean, AG is Smiting is cool and all, but like his clear is just like, you know, innately not very good, and he's actually not super fast. Like you kind of have to convoke him around, but this helps a lot, and it's pretty sick. So here's the Mercenary. He's just a standard Doriali's Mercenary. Originally, I was going to have this big talk about how, because I'm not using the Hands of Frisia, I'm actually only getting into -107 lightning resist. But then I had an epiphany, and I remembered that this actually isn't even necessary, and I could just run a Perfect Spirit of Fortune to give me both lucky lightning damage and wrath, and then I could actually swap this entire Mercenary out, and then run a amulet that has -100 lightning resist to get to -200. So I'm probably going to do that. I think what I'm planning on doing is to find a Determination Merc that runs a 2-hand axe, and then I can give him Kingmaker and then just make him a Determination bot, so that I don't have to run Determination over here anymore, and I could run some more defensive reservation skill like Tempest Shield or Flesh and Stone. And then that will give me extra passive points, because I would be able to unspec out of all of this reservation efficiency and maybe go somewhere like capping spell block. So I think that's the move going forwards. So yeah, that's basically all the key aspects of the build. I've really been enjoying it so far, just because it's kind of a departure from the norm, you know? Because a lot of people are playing Armourstackers, and obviously if you play an Armourstacker, you need at least a mirror to even start playing the build, which I'm not doing, because I've never even had a mirror in all my time playing Path of Exile. And, you know, if you play the traditional Aurabot for your Mercenary, obviously it's really good clear and really strong, but, you know, there's no node that allows you to scale to leech damage off of your Merc, you know, while you're playing. As well as the fact that, you know, you can't just run pieces of gear that say, oh, your Merc does 30% more damage because they don't cast a minion or anything. So this is kind of like a cool blend between the two. I think this build can go way higher, and I'd kind of like to invest a lot more in it. But while there are a lot of like crazy upgrades I could make, I really don't know what direction to step in first, because, I mean, the tankiness does seem like an issue, which is weird because I feel like my energy shield pool is pretty serviceable. But yeah, it's just not that impressive. So yeah, let me know any critiques you have, and I'm going to keep playing this. Have a good one.